Hi there, and welcome to today's BlitzlearnDaily. Daily. It is, as always, an honor that you watch a video and to meet you here. Just briefly hit the like button, save it, and share it with your friends. This is the currency that this internet content is traded in. I will give everything away for free, but do me this favor and don't forget it. I know it's easy to forget. I know on the telephone there's so much going on. Still, please remember to do it. It is very important. That's the only thing that I need back. Okay, today we talk about leadership and leadership in a true sense. I made a post about it yesterday. The first post actually that I carefully designed and crafted. So basically, I think there is a lot of misconception about leadership. This misconception is twofold. On one hand, you have those people who raise in a position and all of a sudden they become a little bit full of themselves. And they have, especially in corporate organizations or maybe government, I don't know, I know corporate organizations, they have this feeling that they are above the others and the other people work for them. And it is also very common language to say, I work for her or for him, or they work for me. I think that is totally wrong. The opposite is true. People do not work for their boss or for their supervisor, whatever. The supervisor needs to work for them, or her or him needs to be there for them. Actually, my uncle, he almost got 100 years old. Actually, he was like my uncle-in-law, and I could consider him a very wise person. He had a book, Serve to Lead. So serving, on one hand, you serve your customers, your shareholders, your managers or bosses or whatever. You serve society in a certain way, and you serve the people that you lead or that you're responsible for the work they do. And this is actually serving. You should, as a leader, take care that the people are able to do what they have to do, and therefore you need to make sure they can flourish, enable them. And there is a trap, because a lot of leaders then think they start to run around, they do everything for the others, they administer, and they fight every battle blindly. This is not wise to do, because then people end up with a burnout and will not be leaders for a very long time. Of course, this enabling, etc., must be done very effectively and spot on. Therefore, the first point I make is by serving others. This is the major principle of leadership, in my own opinion. You have to put people above anything else. That's the major principle. The second principle then is, because you cannot do everything, and because in a leadership position you are confronted with so many different things and tasks and items, and you have a tight schedule, obviously you want to do a lot. People reach out to you, if you're a good leader, for advice and for guidance and whatever, and protection. You cannot do everything at the same time, and therefore a good leader is a good accountant for collateral damage. So you have to have an inner budgeting on how much collateral damage can you take in your daily activities. Collateral damage, I refer here to Tim Ferriss, I learned this from him, could be, for example, that somebody is annoyed because you don't reply to their email, or because you're not willing to do what they ask you to do, or because you simply care about something else at this very moment. And there are several techniques, and we could do another video about those. Let me know if you're interested in that, and how to reduce this kind of noise or collateral damage. You can, on one hand, do it, for example, by explaining somehow to the environment that it is better if you consider this collateral damage. And if you don't do everything, Tim Ferriss does this with an autoresponder in which he, with a carefully crafted message, informs people that he is not available now because he needs to focus on something else, and everybody at the ultimate end will benefit from that. But you can also have other techniques. To be able to live with collateral damage is also emotionally demanding, because most of the people, and then we come already to a point, you cannot please everyone at the same time. And a lot of people in the corporate work environment, at least that I see, they want to please, and they have this perfectionist attitude. They want to have somebody tap them on the shoulders and say, hey, well done, this is great, good job, thank you, and all of that. And they become a little bit dependent or addicted to this kind of reward or feedback. It's like a like on Instagram or an instant gratification, whereas it is much more effective to have the long-term goals in mind, which is then the fourth point of leadership. But let's first come to the third after the second, collateral damage. The third is task management. Now, if you have to save time, and you have to have a lot of time for the things that matter, and you have to minimize the time for the things that don't matter and which eat your time, in which you could serve others, properly budget collateral damage and think in the long term. So there's a good system, and you can check it out on the post I put on Instagram about leadership. Systematic task management for me follows the following principle, and I learned that, I don't remember, but somebody like Tim Ferriss or so, like one of these life hack gurus, and I think it's very effective. When a task comes in, imagine there is like a filter or a tube, and tasks and stuff is coming in on top. The first thing, you take the task, you look at it and you think, can I eliminate it? Is it really necessary? If you can, do it, because if it is not that ultimately important that you can't eliminate it for you, and it might be important for you because it's also important for the organization, right? But it's important what matters to you, and because it's your emotional life. So if you can eliminate it, do it. Just eliminate it. I do it with the following principle. Do I do any good for my company if I do this task? Is it really relevant? If not, do I do any good to me if I do it? If not, do I do any good to my employees or society? The other people I know, my environment. Is it maybe something that cheers other people up? Is it something that would help other people flourish? If so, maybe I do it. And then at the very end you can say, do I do any good to society after all? Is it something maybe that is still worth doing it because society benefits? And in most cases of most Excel lists that arrive in your email with somebody asking for a little bit of input or a little bit of help there, or could you just fill that out? Could you just approve this? The world doesn't get a better place because of that. People think so, and you just satisfy their instant gratification because they can then deliver on their jobs, whether they're necessary or not, and have this experience. But actually you didn't contribute to anything else than that by running after all these things. Then if you can't eliminate it, automate it, right? Give it to a team that can automate it if it is worth doing, or automate it for yourself with a good process. If you can't automate it, delegate it to somebody else. Sometimes delegating is not just throwing your own dirt over the fence to somebody else. It can mean that you make a gift to somebody else. Carefully and well crafted delegation, in my view, is giving somebody a gift, enable somebody to widen his span of activities, enable somebody to contribute and to help, because obviously you couldn't eliminate the task. It is important, so you give the other person the possibility to participate in something important. And it's counterintuitive. You would think, people say, oh no, he's giving me all this bad work, etc. But often the opposite happens. Good people, well-motivated people, they say, thank you that you give me the opportunity to contribute more. And then if you cannot delegate it and you need to do it yourself, you have to ask yourself, can I postpone it? Is it really necessary to do it now? If you can postpone it, do so, because in the future, a lot of the tasks, they evaporate into nothing. If you cannot postpone it, then focus on it. A good trick is also to batch things or to treat things as a great overall topic. You remember the video in which I talked about how you can effectively consume the news in a well-balanced way by having all kinds of newspaper, reading them on a quarterly basis, the same topics from different perspectives. This is the same thing. You batch it and you are more informed afterwards and better equipped. Same with work and tasks. Then fourth point is always focus on the long-term perspective. Don't sacrifice those little things because of the short run if you can, and always try to remember and not to forget what is the long-term impact I want to achieve, because we get stuck or overwhelmed by all these little things happening in our lives that we get distracted from the overarching goal. This is very powerful. And at the very end, overcome your fear, because in many situations you have to be courageous by doing all the other things that I mentioned. Putting people above sometimes requires a lot of courage, because the short-term ends, they talk another language, or people mob someone. It's it's demanding to stand up for somebody in a bad position, or to believe in somebody who is talked bad by all the others of the group. But in the very end, it makes you a lot stronger. So overcome that fear. Also the collateral damage. You need to overcome your fear in order to sustain the pain of people being not satisfied at this very moment with what you do. Then also have the courage to eliminate, automate, delegate, postpone, and focus, because that makes you so much more effective. And have the courage to stick to your long-term goals, to believe in what you do, from time to time to adjust them, of course, and to have a strategic plan. And last but not least, overcome your fear or hesitance to hit the like button, save the post, and share it with your friends, because this is the currency this content is traded in. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. All the best, folks, and see you tomorrow for the next BlitzlearnDaily. Thanks a lot.